It says you're live.
All right, check, check, check.
Check. 1, 2. All right.
Action, off we go. Welcome to Here's Your Freaking Podcast with the Jason Lee and Clark Show. Thank you, as always, for coming along for the ride. Stay up to date all things JLNK by heading over to jlnkshow.com, including all the videos of all the live stream stuff that we're doing now, or the live stream stuff that we do once a week. Coming up on the podcast today, we're going to take a look at do you feel sometimes you've settled into your relationship? We'll also look, is it okay to expose your wife's cheating at a family birthday party? We started this conversation on the radio show earlier this morning. Questions that women have always wanted to ask men, but they thought either one, I'm just being rude, or two, I'm too embarrassed to ask this question. We'll get to some of the not safe for work questions that we didn't do on the radio show today. And then we got a fella who's doing some really gross stuff at the local Lowe's in Louisiana. We'll wrap the podcast with his story later on. Let's start right here, though. This fella has a problem. He says, my girlfriend has a habit of ordering delivery food all the time, and he says her fact that she's ordering, DoorDash all the time is making him rethink the future that they may have together. Dude says we moved in 6 months ago, and she has what I think is an ugly habit of getting Uber Eats. How many times a week is unacceptable to order your food?
I would say any more than 3 times. And to even do 3, you got to be very busy or on that grind.
4 times a week, he says. That I know of for sure. He says, I suppose that when you live with someone, you find out lots of weird shit about them all the time that make you question on whether there's a future there or not. But he says for some reason the Uber Eats thing is driving him crazy. He says, you want to talk about frivolous, wasted spending.
That you take an extra, what, 12, 15 bucks on any order when you do that shit times 4 times a week?
He said, I asked her about it, and what did she do? She just rolled her eyes. When someone rolls their eyes, that's telling me that they have no chance of changing their behavior, because they think that your problem with it is your problem alone. The dude says, I'd rather spend real money on real food, or maybe even a cooking class, for crying out loud, we could take together. Is it wrong for me to think of this as a potential deal breaker?
I always look at it as a failure. If I have to break down and order food, like I didn't prepare ahead, I'm not going out.
I didn't plan, or I was lazy. Those are the 2 things I think every time I have to order food.
And the penalty is all the money you have to pay.
Mm-hmm. When you've been together for a while, sometimes it feels like you're settling into your relationship. What are the signs that you've settled into your relationship?
I always wear sweatpants or basketball shorts.
Pooping with the bathroom door open?
Fart, whatever, the urge hits me. I've been with my wife for a long time. We have not gotten to the poop with the door open phase yet.
Some things in a relationship eventually become routine, and you end up just kind of settling into a rut. You become frustrated and stale. If that's you, here's what the experts say are some signs. It says this will reveal the annoying truth about what you're at, what position you're in with your relationship. A couple of these I don't understand. Probably need some explaining to do. Sign that you're settled into your relationship. Things feel eerily familiar to past relationships that you've been in. Oh, that's like, I remember seeing this mile marker in the last relationship that I was in.
All right.
That I wasn't happy in at the time, but I saw this mile marker, and holy shit, that mile marker has just popped up again. Ooh. How do you know you've settled into your relationship? You catch yourself being extra careful about the details that you share with your family and your friends. Because you don't want them to believe that you're with an asshole, right?
Oh.
So a lot of times you have to kind of step around that asshole-ish behavior.
Like you let Valentine's Day come and go without anything.
You don't tell your family that,
No,
right?
hell no. So what do you get you? Oh, we did something special. It's private.
Every
Private.
day is Valentine's Day. Fine, Grandma. It was a blowjob. It was Valentine's Day. It's what I gave him. It's what he wanted. It's the only thing he ever asked for. Signs you're settling in your relationship. You continue to justify your situation by telling yourself, oh no, it's not that bad. I listen to other people's stories and I realize it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
So what I have is not that bad. You feel like you're asking for too much when you're just asking for basic needs to be met. Hey, I'm just asking for somebody to say hi to me when I walk in the door after a day at work. Is that too much to ask? How do you know you've settled into your relationship? When you find yourself feeling the need to change something about your partner.
Change who you are, maybe.
You don't feel free to express yourself. Oh no. I think that's even when you're new in a relationship. Sometimes you don't want to express yourself because you're afraid I'll be punished for that,
Yeah.
or somebody's gonna think I'm a goddamn weirdo.
I can't let her know what kind of monster I really am. What sort of goblin lurks below the surface?
Oh, this is the saddest one. Signs you're settled in your relationship. There's nothing about the future that excites you. That's cold as
So
hell.
what about down the road?
All right, this guy wants to know if he's a bad person. He exposed his wife's cheating during a family birthday party. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, you're a bad person. There's a time and a place for everything. And exposing your wife's infidelity at a family gathering that's not the time and it's not the place.
Also, if you're going to do this, you better make 100% certain you are right.
This guy made his 40th birthday party an event that nobody's ever going to forget. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little jealous because I'd love to be at something like this. A wedding where all of a sudden at the altar there's an altercation and something happens.
Oh.
That would be awesome, and I couldn't wait to get out of there so I could tell that story to people, or maybe somebody exposing infidelity at a birthday party. A fellow by the name of Nick had a shocking confrontation with his wife Samantha. She had no idea this was coming. A guest caught the whole thing on camera. It started with Nick on the microphone telling everybody that he got something for his wife, even though it was his birthday. That seems pretty sweet, right?
Yeah.
If you're the wife, all of a sudden you start getting fucking nervous, though. I have something special for my wife on my 40th birthday. She's like, oh.
Ooh.
Because guilty people carry that guilt with them all the time, and they're always suspicious.
Is this what's gonna happen? Is this
She's
what's
gonna
happen?
fucking get real. She gonna get real shaky when he says in front of a crowd, "I've got something for you." He takes a ring box from his pocket and makes her hand over her wedding rings. And then he says, "Happy wife, happy life," bullshit. He then kisses her hard before pushing her away and reveals, "I effing know everything." A lot of people compare the video to a scene straight out of the Jerry Springer show. He says things like, "I know all about the Plan B pills you had to take." He calls her a whore. That's always very exciting when
Hey.
someone uses that word.
Now, this is one of the unique circumstances. I've actually seen the video, and the horrified gasps of the people in attendance.
I want to be those people.
That's great,
I
but
want a horrified gasp.
whoever's holding the camera on this video says something toward the end that makes it seem like her and all of her friends knew, and like they all knew she was doing this to him.
He tells her he despises her for ruining their 4-year marriage,
I think there are kids involved.
hurting their children.
Yep.
I hate the life you've stolen from our children. She throws up her arm, says, "I don't know what you're talking about." He threatens to share the alleged evidence with everyone at the party. She walks away. He then kicks everybody out who sides with his wife. Samantha and her family left the party at that point. Birthday boy stuck around, kept partying with his buddies. It was shared on it was shared on social media. 6 million views for this video.
That's funny because like she tries to stop him, and some other guy, some girl comes in and tries to stop, and he keeps grabbing the microphone. He's like, oh. He keeps going.
Source close to the couple reports they're still not living under the same roof right now.
I don't think there's any coming back from this.
No, the level of that sort of level of humiliation,
Yeah.
that'll ruin everything forever.
Well, that and the fact that she slept with somebody else.
That also hurts a little bit.
And now everybody knows, and 6 million people now know.
All right, we started this.
It would be great though if you weren't there. What if you worked with this girl? You saw the video. You're coming back after a long weekend.
How was your weekend?
How was it? Everything fine? You seem tense, upset.
I saw you on the internet, whore. Well, I mean, that's what your husband calls you. I just assume that's what you like to be called. We started this on the radio show today.
I don't have the balls to ever do that in public.
No.
I always go for whatever the less seen is. Like, I don't want to be publicly doing this.
Whatever's the easiest way out, that's what I'm gonna take.
Even if I got everyone's attention, I'd then fucking pussy out and be like, "Have a great night, everybody."
Mm-hmm. We started this on the terrestrial show today. Questions that women have for men, but they thought it's too rude of me to ask, or, well, I don't want him to know that these are things that I think about. So if they're able to present their question anonymously, then obviously you're going to get some very truthful stuff. There was a lot of fun stuff on the safe for work stuff that we did on the radio show. Now here's the not safe for radio stuff. This is fascinating just because there's just some really odd things in here. A couple of these will give you a complex and make you wonder if you're doing it right. For example, one woman wants to know, does it annoy you that women talk about your dick size in vivid detail with all their friends after they've slept with you? First of all, I would like to say, they talk about what now?
Hey, how accurate and how descriptive are they?
One guy says...
See here, I've taken a carrot and whittled it to the exact specifications of that man's genitals.
One guy says, yeah, it's not really your right to share personal details about someone just because you slept with them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it may not be the right, but I guess, wait, you talk about what now? When they say vivid detail, that part worries me a little bit.
Yeah. Just say glowing things. If you're going to talk about it, be positive.
When they say that, are they just kind of spitballing when they're talking about the size of your dog?
Oh, it's barely worth the effort. Sad.
At some point in time, you have to defend yourself, I guess. So maybe keep a ruler next to your bed in case there's any question about that. You're like, well, I mean, it's technically about 6. I know you're ballparking it at 4, but you're coming in a little low here.
I don't think you know what 6 inches even looks like.
Here's the weirdest one, and I don't get this, because it makes me wonder that when your mind starts to wander and you're talking about men and their giblets and stuff, how did you come to the conclusion that that this might be how it works?
What do you mean?
One woman wants to know, when you sit down on the toilet, what happens to your nuts?
They dangle down.
Here's what she thinks happens.
I guess you never really thought about it. They don't know what happens.
They just go where they go, right?
Yeah, they dangle like mighty fruit from a tree.
This woman says, you rest them on the toilet seat.
No, because then your pee dribbles will be all over the floor.
I don't know. Where are you where you're imagining that that's what happens? That's really funny. The first guy to answer it goes, no, man, they don't rest on the toilet seat. They just hang there like fruits on a tree.
Yeah.
Not sure a better way to describe it.
Plus, resting them on the toilet seat makes them think that maybe you can dangle the penis, and you can't do that while doing the other.
Questions women want to know about men, but didn't ever bother to ask. I'm not sure I understand what this one is. Why would you not wipe your ass to its cleanest? I don't think I know what that means.
I know there's a weird thing on the internet where some guys are vehemently opposed to wiping because it's gay or something or less masculine, but that is untrue. It can be a bit tricky, like wiping mashed potatoes on fishnet, but...
They say, why would you come away from a bathroom break, you wipe, you still see dirty toilet paper, and think to yourself, meh, good enough.
I don't recall ever doing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't get it either.
I mean, I thought surely there can't be anything left.
Oh, and then she says, does having extended time in the bathroom make you uncomfortable? I'm confused. Yeah, I'm not sure either. What do you mean? You think that there's an allotted amount of time that makes us feel like, okay, this is how much time I should be spending in the potty before she gets weird, and she thinks that I'm in here pooping, right?
I mean, it's always memes. I'm in there looking at my phone. I don't know how much time has passed. It's a warp zone.
Yeah, but like in a single relationship, you don't want her to know that's what you're in there doing.
Oh, in a single relationship,
Yeah.
I haven't done that anywhere near her, so
No.
she would have no idea. That's not even a question.
One guy says, I'm going to assume that you're referring to skid marks found in the underwear after a long day of wearing them, and not that you've encountered someone who literally left some there. For the latter, there is no excuse. However, many men fall victim to the former on a far more regular basis than we would like, myself included. Oh, this is something you're never going to have to say out loud. When you have a hairy asshole, you can wipe and wipe and wipe, and it'll even look clean on paper when you finish up, but somehow there's still something left behind under that canopy of ass hair. Even on the hottest days of doing physical activities, you're still going to get it. Therefore, we try our best to schedule our poops pre-shower.
I like this guy's honesty.
Questions that women are afraid to ask dudes. What is the actual sensation of getting kicked in the balls? Does it really hurt that badly? The answer is definitely yes.
It hurts, but also it doesn't hurt instantly. It takes a couple seconds, and you get that pain that shoots up into your throat.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Abdomen.
It doesn't hurt in your balls. It hurts in your gut. It's like all of a sudden you have this just.
Didn't scientists one year, like a decade ago, try to get to the bottom of it, and they even couldn't figure out why it hurts, where it hurts?
Here's the best example that you can probably give by how bad that it hurts. It hurts you in the gut, right? It's a pain that shoots up into your gut and then it stays there in the gut. Think about those times where all of a sudden the need to go to the bathroom hits you, right? And I'm not talking about I gotta run or I'm gonna pee my pants. We're talking about that moment where you realize you're at that breaking point was either I find a bathroom or I'm gonna poop my pants in the next 2 minutes.
It's like a weird crampy pain.
You get that like that gas cramp
Yeah.
inside of your gut. That's the same feeling except worse. It's all the pain, but thankfully without the sensation of knowing that you might have to crap your pants in public, right?
Uber Geek Gabe does chime in. That mostly happened to me as a kid. I'd slip off the pedals of my bike, and I never understood why boys' bikes had a bar that would smash my beans.
But then girls' bikes did. They had
Yeah.
that little loop thing that came down.
They're switched.
Yeah. What they call it, the rack bar?
Yeah.
That's what we used to call it.
Was it because it wasn't very ladylike to lift your leg high over a crossbar?
Probably, yes. Okay, here's the one that'll give you a complex. Women get to ask questions of dudes that they were afraid to. This has never crossed my mind. Obviously, guys are very mindful of dick size, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're measuring up with the rest of the fellas in the gym or the bathhouse or whatever, wherever you like to spend time doing around dudes. One woman wants to know, does ball size matter to a guy?
Not really.
I've never thought about it.
I mean, you don't want really small beans.
This woman says, I understand that dick size matters, but what about ball size? What if he has a huge dick and tiny balls?
That usually means
Awesome.
That usually means you're on steroids.
What if he has a tiny dick and huge balls? That's one of the great jokes in a public restroom. Is you say, "Oh man, I peed on my nuts again." That means you have a tiny penis.
I guess I wouldn't even recognize small balls if I saw them.
I don't either. I don't know
Like, how small is considered small? What do enormous balls look like?
I mean, they're always changing size and shape, right?
And the older you get,
You're like, it's freezing in here, so you're high and tight. If you're relaxed, you're like,
yeah.
You're like, I better put these balls on the toilet seat so I don't poop on them.
You know, if it's 88 mid-August, they're as long and low as they're possibly going to be.
Somebody does say if your balls are abnormally big, you need to go see a doctor. Otherwise, the size of the balls don't matter. Well, they didn't matter, but now they matter now. Now I'm concerned about them.
I don't know.
Are these appropriate sized balls?
Out of all the porno I ever remember, the little porno I ever remember watching, I don't remember taking note of any particularly sized testicles.
As a matter of fact, I don't even recall seeing balls in the last online movie I watched.
Well, I'm trying to think,
Were there balls in this movie? I don't remember.
Well, no, now I think I might have taken note. Like, look at the balls on that man.
Right.
What a stallion.
Now, if we saw huge balls on like a bull,
oh yeah,
we would be like, wow, look at the balls on that thing.
Or every once in a while, you see a dog in the park, you're like, look at the nuts on that thing. They're enormous.
Question women are afraid to ask: what do you do with an unexpected or inappropriate erection? This is
the older you get, the kind of
this is the young man's game.
One, if it happens now, I'm surprised, and I'm a little bit delighted.
Yeah, like, hey,
like I still got it.
What am I not paying attention to? There's something I'm not paying attention to here.
Someone got their hand on it.
This guy actually has a good piece of advice. What happens if you have an inappropriate erection? Apparently, you're supposed to tense your legs.
I would always try really hard to focus on anything else.
If you tense your legs, that requires more blood flow to be diverted away.
Yeah, but if you're sitting at a desk in school and you get one, also your legs kick out like you're having cramps.
Girls asking guys questions. Does every guy at some point try to suck his own dick? There was a guy that I knew years ago that could do that, and it wasn't the fact that he could do it that was so amazing to me. His name was Matt. I still remember his name. He was unashamed of his ability to do it. So if you were at a party and I'm literally replaying a scene in my mind the first time, I saw it about 40 times after that. The very first time, kind of like you remember your first snuff film, but you don't remember the rest. Right. I remember in the living room, and I remember specifically there was a Metallica bootleg CD playing on the stereo at this kid's house. His mom had a very nice house, very nice living room, and somebody said, "Maddie, show everybody you can suck your own dick." And before ick was even out of this dude's mouth that said it, he had his pants down around his ankle, and he threw himself on the floor onto his back and showed everyone that his dog could touch his mouth.
Now, I thought for the longest time that you would either need to be abnormally well hung or
he had both
of a certain physical build where you have a shorter spine or a longer one.
He was flexible and well hung, so he had both. There was no question about the one. Even every guy standing there was like, well, I certainly see why he's able to do that. But then he was also very thin and he was very flexible.
As a little kid,
he was like a coat hanger.
As a little kid, I think if I tried, I would have drowned in my own belly. We found him. I think I know what he was trying to do, but his belly drowned him.
What's the deal with men loving three-ways? Why do you think men always want three-ways more than women?
We don't all love them. We all want them because you can't just get one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not something you can buy. I guess you could buy it.
We've even talked on this podcast how a lot of people who've had a threesome give it thumbs down, but you can't boo something you've never tried.
No.
I would love to sit here and say I had a negative experience. I'd never try it again.
Females are hot. We want as many as possible, and threesomes are nice. Foursomes would be better. Fivesomes would be outstanding. Plus, you're genetically inclined to want to impregnate as many women as you can, right?
Yep.
The more the merrier. Questions women want to ask men, but I've always been too embarrassed. This is a quick and easy one. Is queefing a turnoff? Yes. Yes, the answer is yes.
In general, no. But like,
I don't want to make you feel self-conscious, but yes, the answer is yes.
In my direction.
Why do dudes draw dicks on everything?
I don't know. In first grade, I got in trouble for drawing a dick on an activity book. It was a lion. I'll never forget. This is the first time I remember getting in trouble at school. Because I drew the classic little droopy dick and balls, and I turned it in, and I was snickering with my pals. And then Mrs. King came over and grabbed me firmly by the arm and put the paper down in front of me. She said, "What is this?" And she kept pointing to it, and I was like, "I don't know." And she's like, "What did you draw on this lion?" And I finally said, "My pencil slipped."
It's a sad lollipop.
Yeah, I was fucking humiliated, dude. I didn't draw their dick for weeks.
Is blue balls a real thing?
Yes.
Or is it just some BS made up by horny guys to convince their girlfriends that they probably need to put out?
No, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. I mean, your balls don't turn blue, but it is. It's an uncomfortable way to live.
It's an achy pain.
And then it becomes all-consuming. It's literally the only thing you can think about. Nothing else matters. Unless somebody comes up and tells you your grandma's at the front door and she brought you your birthday card.
You're like, tell her I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, unless something happens quickly and painfully, it sticks around for a long time.
And I don't know why either. Like, what happened? The launch sequence started and abort mission, and now it hurts.
Have you ever got your dick stuck in anything? Number one answer, as we talked about on the radio show today, was zippers. Otherwise, I don't think it's that common. I can't really think of anything, anywhere I'd go over the course of my day where I might get my dong stuck in something outside of a zipper.
No, I can't either.
Yeah.
Got it stuck in crazy once in college, Jason.
All right, here's the Lowe's story.
There was always the rumor at church camp that some kid got his dick stuck in one of the pool jets.
Okay. Well, even with the water rushing out?
I don't know, but I got older and got a pool and I realized that's impossible. We were all scared of putting our dicks in there for no reason.
Yeah. Louisiana police got a call, local Lowe's parking lot. Police found a naked man inside it. You know those shed displays they've got set up in the parking lot?
Oh, yeah.
That's where they found this fella. They were arresting him for lewd behavior. According to police, this is disgusting. Hey, man, I'm just here to get some fucking mulch. Springtime is here. My wife's on my ass about landscaping the front yard. All I'm trying to do is get like 30 of these bags of mulch next to the shed in the parking lot, and then I got this jackass in here jackassing around, naked, inside the tool shed set up in the parking lot.
That's one of those things, if you catch a glimpse, you just keep doing what you're doing. You're like, I'm not getting fucking wrapped up into this.
This guy's over the top, though. This isn't, some fella just giving himself the business. Cops arrived on the scene, searched the line of sheds in the parking lot. It wasn't until the fourth or the fifth shed that they located the suspect.
That third shed, they're like, nobody's home. We're moving down to the next shed.
Like, God damn it, this is our guy. It's kind of like knocking on a porta potty to make sure you don't open it up.
Hello.
They found the suspect laying on his back, pants around his ankles, using an open container of Vaseline and electronic device, all the while masturbating. This is the multitasking that they say that most people aren't good at. Look at this fucking guy. He's all about it. They pulled tasers, which I understand. I absolutely would. They told the man to pull up his pants and roll onto his stomach so that he could be handcuffed. Police say the man complied without resistance. The man knew that he'd been beat.
Yep.
The man reportedly admitted to his actions, telling officers that he was watching YouTube at the time. This is it.
Hey, plus if they got you, those things only have one entrance and exit. You're not running out the back.
He was arrested on one count of obscenity and booked into the jail. It seems like there should be more to it than that. Just one count of obscenity. You can't. There's not other things you can tack on. Some sort of something about being gross.
Yeah.
Can't we just? He was being gross for the sake of being gross. That should be another charge there.
I want to lean back next time I drive by the parking lot and say, "What's going on in there? One of the beaten sheds."
Well, I mean, I guess it would be easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you never see people out there. I'm trying to see.
I mean, we're not daring anybody to do it.
I dare you to do it. I'm trying to see if there's a name on this guy, to see if they attached a name to the article. It was Slidell, Louisiana.
Please don't use my name.
Yeah.
I'll go quietly.
I don't see his name in here anywhere. I don't know if you want to follow up, fox10tv.com. So there you go. There's the podcast for this week. As always, thank you for being a part of the podcast. And yes, again, you can stay up to date in anything JL&K related, including links to the radio show, obviously, because sometimes they tend to bleed into one another like they did today. So you can check it out all anytime you like. Head over to jlnkshow.com. We will see you next Tuesday.